Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Showtime it is. Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Mikey, and as always, rides me shotgun. My boy Tommy, what's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Happy Friday. And man, good to see you, buddy. It's been 2 weeks, man, of no Tommy and Mikey. And I'm sure people are like, what is going on? But we did tell y'all it's going to be 2 weeks, and it's probably going to be another 2 weeks after this, 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll be back consistently every Friday. So yeah, welcome back, Mikey. Good seeing you, man.
You too,
and I know
brother.
you were without power, by the way.
I was.
Which, it's brutal. But at least you're in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
The weather's not terrible. So, but it still sucks. I mean, I don't want to be, even if the weather was unbelievable, no power is the worst. So
yeah,
I'm glad you got your power on.
It happened last year where we were without power for a couple of days. I didn't go out and buy a generator then. This year when we lost power the first day, and then we found out that a tree fell on the power lines. And it was going to be multiple days. I went out and bought a generator, and that made it better. So during the day, I had my generator going. I had my refrigerators hooked up. I had my TV going. But about 10 o'clock at night, I shut down the power, and then it was just, to go to bed, and then no power. Yeah. So for the most part, it was okay. The first day was rough. After I got the generator, it was much better.
They're lifesavers. I mean, really, honestly, really I need to get one because we have them here once in a while. We have some like paper thin power lines over here. So like anytime a little bit of rain comes down, it's like 2 days of no power. It's ridiculous. So I definitely need to get one because they are. I mean, they may not, like I said, they may not help you the whole, every single appliance, but boy, it can get you through.
It did.
For a couple of days.
Last year we lost, all of our food because it was out for so long. What it cost me for the generator and everything, I probably saved as much food because I have 2 refrigerators and then a meat freezer. So I have a bunch, and I just stocked my meat freezer. So I mean, it was worth the spending the money.
So 100%.
Have to throw it all out.
And that's something like you always have in hand, man. That's it.
Yep. So, anyways, we have a lot to talk about tonight, Tommy. We have some new coaching on the coaching staff this year.
We do.
There was NFL honors last night, which I'll be perfectly honest, these awards are becoming a joke. A joke.
I didn't even watch. Didn't pay attention. I mean, I just
Josh Allen skipped it and went to trivia night.
Yeah, with Barstool, right?
Yeah. TJ Watt skipped it. He said, "I knew what was going to happen, so I'm not even going to go."
Right.
You have elite players starting to skip this because of how bad it is, and then the fallout with some of the national media today, and we'll get into this. So let's just jump into the NFL honors stuff, and then we'll get into the Bill stuff, and then we'll talk about the Super Bowl to end this. So the NFL honors, we'll start with the Walter and Payton Man of the Year was Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward has won it before. The dude does amazing work. I have no problem with that award. Any guy who won that award is worthy of it. So like that's not one that you really like, oh, is that really? Lamar Jackson. I didn't have a problem with Lamar Jackson winning the award at all. Lamar Jackson got 49 out of 50 first place votes. Josh Allen was the only person who got 1 vote. But he still finished 5th because he wasn't even on a bunch of people's ballots. Even though he's the only one who got the one. You're telling me, because Patrick Mahomes last year, who was the league MVP, and everyone knew he was going to be the league MVP, got 48 out of 50. You're telling me Lamar Jackson had a better season this year than Patrick Mahomes had last year?
No, he had a good stretch of the last 5 games or so, I would say.
Yeah.
He had a good run, but is that what it's about, or is it about a complete season, right? Like, that's where I think that's where, and you know what, too, that also falls on Joe Flacco, which you'll get to in a bit as well. So it's like almost like these writers, it's like they want to, it's almost what they remember last
it's
instead
a narrative.
of remember.
It's a story.
Right.
What it's about.
Yeah.
You know,
but I'm just saying, it's almost like they want to, it's whatever happened, the most current, instead of really just dialing up and seeing like the whole season as a whole, you know. So but it is what it is, man. You know, like, what are you gonna do, man? You know, like, I thought the comeback of the comeback player of the year for Flacco was a bad decision. I mean, listen, I give him credit for coming off the couch. Yeah, but it's just like, but once again, though, I don't know if it matters, Mikey, to some of these players anymore.
I don't listen. Josh Allen skipped it. TJ Watt skipped it. A bunch of players are starting to skip them.
This isn't a fame thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's just it's one of those things.
Like Antonio Gates got skipped for a Hall of Fame, by the way.
That was,
and I think that's,
I love Patrick Willis.
Like, I think that's
I love Patrick Willis. He played 8 years in the league.
Right.
8 years. That's it. And he was first ballot Hall of Famer over Antonio Gates, who is the all-time TD reception leader and for tight ends. Like, really?
Yeah.
Reggie Wayne didn't make it. But Patrick Willis made it?
I didn't look at the full list, but did they get my boy from the UN, the kick returner? I can't believe I'm
Devin Hester made it.
Finally. Good Lord. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been upset if he didn't, because I've honestly been just not paying attention to the NFL lately.
Yeah.
But good. Finally.
Yeah.
But anyways, continue what you're going with, and we'll jump into all that good stuff.
This morning, Stephen A. Smith goes on his show and blasts the one writer for voting Josh Allen. So Stephen A. thought Lamar should have been a unanimous MVP. Like, first off, I would have blasted the 49 writers who put him on. You're telling me that Brock Purdy, CMC, and Dak didn't put up any fight over Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson, you look at his numbers. Yes, he was. He played fantastic this year, but he wasn't carried. He didn't carry the team. He was carried by a defense and a running game.
Yeah,
I mean, what are we doing here?
I agree. I think it's fair to put him in talks for MVP, but I don't think this year was, in my view, Mikey. I don't think it was like one person, like Lamar got all votes but one. I think this should have been a lot closer, and I think it should have been spread out wise, meaning this wasn't like a Patrick Mahomes of last year, who should have just got all 50, right? I think this should have been a lot closer with players like Christian McCaffrey. You know, even you could even throw kind of Dak in there, but I thought Dak kind of fizzled at the end. But there is players, even Josh Allen, you could put in the mix. And I think if you want to make it fair, I mean, honestly, I think the vote should have been really close. I think this year, I thought there was at least 3 or 4 players that deserved it, that could have won it. But yeah, I thought exactly. So if it was my vote, I'll be honest with you, I would have went McCaffrey. Okay, because he is just an unbelievable player and what he does for that team. But once again, though, I just think the writers see what they want to see. They you know, and it also too, quarterbacks tend to get that award over running backs and receivers, which once again, I don't think is right either, because as much as I love Josh Allen, let's just say if Josh Allen was having an unreal year and it was really between him and McCaffrey, but McCaffrey did better, I would probably go McCaffrey. Like, I would just be I would say fine. Like, I would understand that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, oh, it has to go to a quarterback. Like, so I don't know. I just feel like there was no way it was 49-1 that he did that great, that he beat out everybody. I don't think he had that phenomenal of a year. I thought he had a good year.
Yeah, me too. I think my biggest issue of all of it wasn't even that it's just Stephen A. is a fool, because we all know he's a fool. It was Dan Orlovsky, Shannon Sharp, and a couple others on the panel. They all agreed with him. It was like, what are we doing here? But yes, someone asked, is the award show becoming a lot like the Pro Bowl? Yeah. Like I probably won't watch the award show again after watching it last night. I've
never watched it.
I watched it last night.
I don't watch any of the. I'll be honest, Mikey. Even if even if I think one of our players are going to get it, I don't know why. It's meaningless for me, I guess. It just doesn't. Any award show, just in general, I don't watch Oscars or Golden Globes, or I just think they're just whatever. Like, give me the results, fine, but it's just not. I don't know, and I don't know if it. Yeah, and I don't know if it means much to the players as much as like Hall of Fame. Like, I'll watch. I'll be honest with you. I watch the Hall of Fame a little bit, like I do, because I like to hear, these guys' emotions, and just talk about their career. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and people talking about them first, like, so like I like that part because that is a big deal. But this 1 year thing, and if you go back on these Hall of Fame, not Hall of Fame, these MVPs for the year, a lot of these guys are not even going to the Super Bowl. I mean, Aaron Rodgers did it back to back, didn't even go to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's won it twice now, didn't even go to the Super Bowl. So like, what is it really? You know what I mean? Like, fine, I get like Patrick Mahomes, but he was deserving in the Super Bowl. Like, but a lot of these guys don't even wind up going.
They need to extend it doesn't need to be a regular season award. It needs to be a full season award. Really,
exactly. Honestly, I think they need to do it at the very end. Wait till the very end and give it. But I mean, I guess I get it. It's a regular season MVP, whatever. I mean,
yeah,
they have it in basketball too. So
Daniel, we know that. But let's take, like, do you think Lamar Jackson wins the MVP if they would have taken into account the 2 playoff games for how bad he played against the Chiefs? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I mean, just look at the just in general, like even like NBA pro and their All-Star and the game and the Pro Bowl, like, it's fans voting. It's like some of the best players are not even there because they weren't voted. They had guys that didn't even play most of the year that are there. You know what I mean? Like, same thing at Pro Bowl. It's just like, so how serious do like fans take it? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't take the Pro Bowl serious. Like, it's almost like it used to be for me a big deal when you go, man, Jim Kelly, 3-time Pro, like, whatever. Like, I thought it was more of a big deal back then. Now, like, I don't even want to say it. I feel like so dumb when I'm like, Stephon Diggs, Pro Bowl player. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't even know if he should have been in there.
Well, let's look at it. This last year, we had Gardner Minshew, who was the 11th alternate as a Pro Bowl player. But back then, Pro Bowl meant something because everybody went. It was a Hawaii trip. There was a game.
Yeah.
There was
it was different.
Like, it was different. Nowadays,
I'm talking about 90s. Yeah, early 2000. Now it's just like a total joke.
Sean Taylor blew up Brian Moorman.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was the Pro Bowl that I remember.
Yeah.
Or me, the QB challenge.
For me, yeah, I love the QB challenge. But for me, honestly, the NFL should just do away with it, like, altogether. But make the Pro Bowl mean something, meaning the honors, meaning he earned the Pro Bowl because he had these stats. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to be a certain amount. Like, if they earned it, they earn it. Like, it's almost like their award for getting to be a Pro Bowler. But you don't need to go to an event, flag football. Like, nobody get. It's just another way for the NFL to make money.
Yeah. Did you hear Josh's reason why he didn't go to the Pro Bowl? He said stiff back. I'm like, then he went and played golf.
Oh, did he? Then he went and played. That's funny. Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so dumb.
Let's finish going through these awards.
Yeah.
The NFL Comeback Player of the Year, Joe Flacco. We gave a guy an award for playing 5 fucking games.
Yeah.
5 games.
I mean, listen, I give him mad dues credit. Like, honestly, like, his age coming back. He played his ass off. No, I'm just saying he played it. I will give him his credit, considering he was on the couch most of the year. Came in. I thought he had good games. Cleveland was like, let's be real. When Cleveland was going through their quarterbacks, at that time, I thought Cleveland was done. Like they weren't going anywhere. They were fishing for a quarterback. I'll give him his credit for that, but I don't think he's the comeback player of the year because there's other guys that came through and played the full season that, to me, like Baker Mayfield, who played a whole year, got his
10.
Exactly, got his team in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I would have gave it to him. And I'm not even a Baker Mayfield guy. I don't like Baker Mayfield, but I got to give him his dues.
The Comeback Player of the Year award is designed for a player who's truly coming back. Listen, Alex Smith won the Comeback Player of the Year award a few years ago after almost losing his leg.
Deserved. Well deserved.
But he played like shit. But he came back.
But just
the
whole fact
point
that
of that is, how do you not give it to Damar Hamlin, who died on the field and then came back and played?
I agree with that too. Like I agree with that to an extent as well. Like I think he should have.
If you're gonna give it,
I know he got votes. Yeah.
If you're gonna give it to Alex Smith, how do you not give it to Damar Hamlin?
I am a little surprised. I think a lot of people were with that one. I am because I think everybody thought the NFL would just, because of the severity of like the situation, right? And the fact that he even because a lot of people were saying that he may not even make the roster to begin with. Mm-hmm. Remember, there was a lot of talks about that. Mm-hmm. And then the fact that, and then I heard some radio stations like, he didn't see the field. Well, he kind of did. He had some games where he did see the field. So that's not true. He did play some games. Yeah. And he played special teams as well.
He played more snaps than Alex Smith played in his Comeback Player of the Year award.
But I think the NFL owed him that as well. Just the fact that he came back.
After a year of squeezing every bit of PR out of him and then don't give him the Comeback Player of the Year award?
Exactly. Like, it's not like, once again, it's not the MVP. We're not talking like do the guy right. He came back, he played. But it is what it is. If you're not going to give it to him, though, then give it to somebody more deserving, like I said, and give it to Baker Mayfield. I would have still been okay with that. Like, but not a guy that's played 4 games. That's
right. But Baker truly had a comeback. He was released. He went to Carolina, got released.
Teams,
went to the
Rams.
Then was released. Found a team, won the starting job. Wasn't given
1 year, 1 year contract.
Yeah,
right. It wasn't even guaranteed. It was, it was almost like, we don't trust you, but. You know what? If you earn it, we'll give you a shot. Right.
And he put up 4,000 yards, 28 and 10. How do you not give it to that guy? If you don't want to do the whole Damar Hamlin thing, and you want to disqualify him for whatever reason, give it to the guy who actually played the season.
Exactly. I agree with that. I'm with you.
What are we doing here? We gave a guy an award for playing 5 games.
Right. I'm on board with that.
Just ridiculous. The Offensive Player of the Year was Christian McCaffrey. I think he should have been the MVP. And Offensive Player of the Year probably should have been Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
really?
I could be on board with that. I could definitely be on board with that as well.
Coach of the Year, Stefanski. Are you kidding me? D'Amico Ryan should have been the Coach of the Year. And if it's not D'Amico, it should have been MCDC in Detroit. And if you really want to give to either one of those guys, what about the coach in Indy, who was supposed to have a crap team, and was over 500?
Yeah, and he had a backup quarterback almost the whole year with God, what's his name? Yeah, got Gardner Minshew. Yeah, but me personally, if I'm on the vote, and we talked about this even I think a week or 2 ago, I would have gave it to Houston. I would have gave it to D'Amico Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought I don't see, you know why? Because I don't think anyone had them going into the playoffs. And I don't think, and not only that, when what's his name went out, the quarterback went out for a couple weeks.
Stroud.
I don't think, Stroud. I don't think anyone had them going to the playoffs after that. Like, I think they thought, oh my God. And then they lost the receiver, their main receiver. So Yeah, Tank Dell. So CJ Stroud out a couple games. Tank Dell out for the rest of the year, which was I think the like remaining 5 games or so. And then just the fact that they won their first play. Like, what are you doing here? Like that guy. By the way, too, it's not like he's this seasoned Bill Belichick coach that went to Houston. Then I would say, you know what? Fuck, dude. He's fucking Bill Belichick. Of course he got the fucking Texans. I'm like, this is a rookie coach, like a young-ass coach with a young-ass team, not yet built together. And he went to the playoffs, smoked the first team, right?
Won the division.
Yes, won the division. I mean, like, what are you doing here? Like, that's the guy that you need to give coach of the year.
Yep. And if you didn't want to give it to him for whatever the case, Dan Campbell was, you know,
absolutely.
Like, I would have been my follow-up. Like, listen, they need to fix the, you know, I don't know how they do it because a lot, you know, some of the names on these AP guys who get the vote, I'm just like, you know, I'm no longer going to take it serious. It is what it is, and I'm just writing off whatever because these writers, like back in the day, they had long time writers. You know what I mean? Now they're all media personas that just try to get clicks.
Yeah. And by the way, real quick, D'Amico Ryan, his team smoked Cleveland Browns in the playoffs, which is the coach of the year.
Right? Brian Dable got it last year. How did D'Amico Ryan not get
it? Right. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand some of those. Listen, you know, I get Cleveland had a lot of things going on with the quarterback situation, but they had one of the best defenses in the NFL with stud players. They still had a really good running game. One of the best offensive line in the in football. Yeah. That team was complete if they didn't lose their quarterback, and then they kind of got lucky with the Flacco thing, went into the playoffs. Nobody had the Texans beating the Browns, not even me. They smoked them. So come on, man, do the guy right. But that's just like I said, that's why people will start saying this is bullshit. I don't even care anymore. And so are coaches, so are players. Yeah. Like even when they were, they're gonna be like, what? They'll accept it, but I don't think it'll be
you're gonna see more and more of the big name guys not going to these award events because of stuff like this. Defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's a great player, and you look at him on par with, when you look at Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, you look at those guys, they're all game wreckers. So what truly separates them? What separates them is the stats. TJ Watt had better stats than Garrett, and this is like the third time he's been robbed of this award.
Yeah. Like, I would have gave it to TJ Watt as well. But Garrett's a beast, no doubt about it. Like you said, all those guys, Micah Parsons.
But at what point, like, how do you separate them?
It's tough, right? Yeah, I agree.
But if you're telling me, a guy who had 19 sacks and missed 2 games and still had more better stats than Garrett, like, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? But anyways, I'll get off my soapbox now for the whole NFL honors bull crap. Like it was just so irritating, man. I'm like, why? And then to listen to them talk about it today, it was just even worse.
I'll be honest, I don't watch. I haven't watched ESPN and those shows a lot for weeks, maybe a month, Mike. I can't do it. The only guy, like I said, I'll watch once in a while is Colin Cowherd, and that's not even on TV. That's like on YouTube when I'll watch like a clip and a 5-minute clip or something. And I'm like, okay, like, because I still respect for the most part what he says. Obviously, he still goes off a little bit there. He takes some rabbit holes and he gets a little animated. But those other guys, I can't do it, Mikey. I used to be able to. I used to watch all those shows, I can't do it anymore. It's so fake. Yeah. It's so just for attention. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's just clickbait. So that's all they want.
That's it. Yeah.
It's sitting so hard. And the sad part is, I love like Dan Orlovsky, but he's starting to go down that rabbit hole too now. And I'm just like, oh, that makes me sad.
players too, like former player. That's why sometimes I kind of get
Acho's
that's why I kind of get like not upset, but like I don't like. I'll be honest with you, like I get it. Like these analysts, these national media guys are like they're so over the top, and a lot of them are fake or whatever. They're just doing it for like attention, to get people's. But I'll say this though, and I'll be real. A lot of players current player, like anyone who's playing in any sport, NBA, MLB, whatever, they all like hate it, right? They're all like, I don't give a fuck what, fuck this guy. You have talking about me bad. But then a lot of these guys go on to be exactly the guys that they don't like and doing the same thing because that's what's paying them, right? They go to FS1, they go to these shows, and they're like, you know what I mean? Like that's what they want. That's what they're paying you for. The shock value, the over the top, right? And it's just funny to me. Like trust me, all these guys that hate it, they're gonna eventually all do it. They all do it, man. And they all. By the way, too, they all criticize athletes today, right? Like they'll criticize, but they hate being criticized when they're playing.
Like Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark's one of the biggest ones. He went on a rampage about Josh Allen when they lost, but didn't say a peep about Lamar Jackson when he lost.
Yeah, well, that too. They also pick sides. A lot of them pick sides. A lot of them.
Like you want to get on Josh Allen, fine. Get on Josh Allen. You like he's not a perfect.
But certain guys, player. You are right.
But bring the certain smoke next week when the guy that you love does the same thing.
Right. But that's the way it is, man. You notice that like a lot of guys have certain agendas for certain players. It's just the truth. I don't know. I don't get it. Like Josh Allen will always have those few guys out there. Now there's some that did turn the corner and give him his respect now, but there's still some that are sticking with. Yeah, they just stick with that. The whole
other one. Aaron Schott, who is a Josh Allen basher from the very beginning, is the one guy who voted him MVP this year.
Yeah, wild, right? Wow. Right? So I don't know. It's just I that's why I say I just try to. I just don't watch all that stuff, and it's nonsense now to me.
It came up in my timeline on Twitter. Like I don't do a ton of Twitter anymore, but I went on there and it popped up in my timeline, so I went out and watched it, knowing we were going to do a show tonight. I'm like, might as well get some talking points.
I do get my I still do Twitter. I don't tweet as much though, Mikey. I used to tweet. You remember me? I used to tweet a lot. Now I just kind of go on there and read what. Because it's crazy.
Randomly pop in there.
But then the news is always on there first. So it's so odd. It used to not be the case, right? You'd have to wait for ESPN ticker or, Fox, whatever.
Twitter's
Fox
where you get
Sport. Twitter is the first to get it. And that's where you get everything. So like for me, the only reason I really kind of use Twitter right now is kind of just more like catching up to date on stuff, So, but for the most part, I stopped tweeting. This year was probably the least amount I ever tweeted. But it is what it is.
I think I've done more tweeting since the season ended than I have like in the multiple years I've been on Twitter.
Wow.
Just
that's right.
People ask questions, and I like what the response is, so I add a response, and it kind of leads me down a rabbit hole. But it is what it is. The Buffalo Bills made some coaching changes, Tommy. Did you hear about that?
We did. I did.
Both coordinators, we saw Eric Washington leave. We saw Bobby Babich get the job as a DC. Yep. We saw Joe Brady get the job as the OC.
Which we knew that was happening.
And then on the offensive side of the ball, we saw us bring in a quarterback's coach in Ronald Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember
from the Saints,
Curry?
I believe.
Yeah, he's from Saints. But he's also, in college, he was the number one prospect in football and basketball.
Yeah, played basketball. Yep.
He also played wide receiver in the pros for a lot of years.
Yeah.
So he started as a wide
receiver. He's an upcoming
coach
too. Yeah. They say he's like one of those so we probably won't have him long, basically. So what that means,
right? Like he had his choice because the Saints wanted to keep him as the wide receivers coach, and he said no, he wants to go. He chose the Bills and be the quarterback coach for Josh Allen, which isn't a bad job because the last two quarterback coaches for Josh Allen are OCs now. As Ken Dorsey got a job in Cleveland, which is good for Dorsey. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I am very interested. And by the way, too, shout out to Leslie Frazier for getting the DC job at Seattle. So good for both of our coordinators, former coordinators getting jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I am interested to see how Ken Dorsey does. I really am, because if he, guys, like,
is he going to call plays though? Because Stefanski normally calls plays.
No, I get that, but I'm still curious how he does,
Mm-hmm.
because if you notice, a lot of guys that left here, even players, a lot of them start to perform better. So I'm very curious, like even with Frazier, will Frazier turn that Seattle defense has kind of been, struggling since, last couple. Will he turn it around and you start seeing a good Seattle defense now over there?
Regular season. Bend but don't break, baby.
That's true. Bend don't break. But that's maybe they're probably cool with it,
He's got the corners.
Yeah. There. I am curious what they do, though. I'm very curious what some of our guys do. And then, of course,
I'm interested to see what happens with Eric Washington. He's now the DC.
Eric Washington.
And
yes.
In Chicago.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that one too. Yeah.
And then we made some changes within our defense as well, as we moved Al Holcomb to the linebackers coach to replace Bobby Johnson or Bobby Babich, who's now the DC. We brought in Jamil Adai from the U, right?
From the U, baby. Yep.
To be the new cornerbacks coach. We let John Butler, who's been with Sean McDermott for ages. He's been with the Bills for a long time since Sean McDermott came aboard, but he's been with Sean McDermott forever. He moved on. They agreed. And then he went to Twitter and wasn't happy about it. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that. Wow, no, I didn't. Man. Really.
He went to Twitter. Wow. Butler went to Twitter and was like, like bashing it. Like my team, my teams have been, top 5 every year since I've been here in the corners in all categories. Okay. Like he was not happy about.
I know Dorsey was asked and he kind of kept it simple. He did say my coach fired. Like he didn't mention McDermott by name. If you noticed that.
He said the coach decided to go in a different direction, and I've moved on. That's what he said.
I don't know if that's, but saying the coach, like instead of, Coach McDermott is kind of, you could tell he was a little pissed there too. Cause that's
he got canned for the special teams having 12 men on the field. Like, come on. Right. Now, do I think it was a good move? Yes. In hindsight, because they brought in Joe Brady. And I love what Joe Brady's doing. You know what I mean?
No, I do too. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with a offseason where he can, it's going to be his offense now. And you saw that post game, the season ending press conference that Bean had when he's talking about our offensive coordinator. He was saying, look, Joe Brady was just basically going on what he had in front of him. He said basically it would be like me getting hired as a GM day one, the night before the draft. I'm just going to have to work with what I have on the board. So, he basically was saying, hey, look, what you saw this past season isn't what you're going to get, this upcoming season. This is going to be an offense. It's his offense, right? Not an offense that he had to just basically work with because he had no choice. So I'm very interested. I'm really kind of excited to see what Brady brings to the table now that he knows, now that he can create his own offense, 2, whatever new weapons we bring in, hopefully we do on offense. And now that he understands his player strengths and weaknesses that are returning, meaning the guys that are returning from last year, right? Because that's one thing I thought Ken Dorsey kind of failed at. And I thought Joe Brady exceeded at. So curious like how he'll use Khalil Shakir moving forward. Like stuff like that. How he'll use James Cook more in the offense. Stephon Diggs. You know what I mean? Like, so it's going to be really interesting.
Kincaid and Knox together.
Kincaid. Yeah, exactly. So very curious. It's going to, I can't wait for that. Now, I will say this though. Babich, defense coordinator. I was surprised because I told you there's no way. I just didn't think McDermott would give it up. But now that he has, I will question, do you think he really gave it up? Or do you think he's still going to
Well, they haven't said
Leslie Frazier McDermott thing.
They haven't said who's going to call plays yet. And to hit Triggs' comment, he says, meanwhile, Butler was a pass game coordinator. I think Butler was upset because last year in the preseason, you remember McDermott handed over play calling duties and he handed it over to Butler in that preseason game.
Correct.
Not, and I think they had a choice. If they didn't promote Babbage, they were going to lose Babbage because Babbage had like 4 interviews.
He had interviews. Yep.
And I think he was going to end up in New York
that's why they made the decision.
And I think Butler thought he should have been, the DC. He was in succession and Babbage jumped him.
Yep.
So they parted ways. They had to choose one or the other. And that happens all the time with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a feeling McDermott is going to still have a hand in play calling. I think McDermott's going to lean more on Babbage for the game plans and do things because I think McDermott didn't like the in-game operation was going on that he turned over to Smiley, the special teams coordinator. He doesn't want that to happen again to where he can't let a coach go because he's too important into another piece of it. That's just stupid.
Right.
Or give it to Al Holcomb, who used to be a defense coordinator. Let him be the game day operations guy, or like don't give it to one of your coordinators. Let it be another coach that you're not going to get rid of.
Right.
And I can't believe Smiley still has a job. To be perfectly honest with you, for as bad as our special teams was this year.
Yeah, it seems like one of those guys, man. It's like a McDermott guy, like a player that like he just wants to stick with. He gave him praise too, by the way, end of season. He's not going anywhere, man. He's not going anywhere.
The last coaching piece was Christian Taylor. We brought him in as a defense quality control coach. However, he was an offensive coordinator in college, and he has one of the most unique offenses in college. They were saying, so I'm interested to see why they brought him in on the defensive side of the ball, and how much Joe Brady picks his brain this offseason before he really digs into that side, because he comes from an offensive background and now he's a defensive quality control coach.
Man.
So Westingham then says, what do you guys think of Diggs at the media Super Bowl media days? I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm with Triggs on this. Diggs has brought whatever smoke he gets this offseason, he's brought it upon himself. He had a chance to quiet all of it in multiple interviews, and he chose to just stoke the flames. So
yeah,
it is what
if
it
anyone was, so I did a video.
Josh tried to kill it on McAfee.
I know. I did a video on that.
Adams, then just stoke the flames some more.
When I heard that, Mikey, I'm like, I didn't even message you because I know you're gonna be like, oh, geez. But I did like a video, I think last week or this. I don't remember when I did it, but I talked a little bit about that. I'm like, I understand that he's fine. You get tired of the same question. I get that, right? It's annoying or bored, but hear me out. No matter what field you're in, like if you're a famous athlete, which he is, he's considered one of the hot, better athletes out there. So he's going to get more attention than, the fourth receiver on a team, right? Who gives a fuck about him? So you're going to get more reporters. You're going to get more cameras. You're going to get more attention. You're going to get more. It comes with the territory, right? Like if you're a famous actor and you go out to eat lunch, paparazzi's going to be there. They're going to take it. It sucks, but that's the nature of the beast, right? Like you're getting paid millions of dollars. I know it sucks and privacy. So my point is this, man. How hard is it when you're asked, right, a question you probably have been asked a million times, for me to say, all right, you good with it? Everything's good there? I'm going to be like, yeah, man. Like, hey, man, I'm tired of being asked, but dude, like, yeah, me and Alan are tight. That's it. He could have said something really, really simple.
Josh Allen said that.
Yeah. I don't get why it's so tough for him, even if you're annoyed, to just be like, that would be like if like
he enjoys
somebody asking if I'm good with you, and I'm like, bro, think what you want to think. Like, why would I say that? Why can't I just say no?
There's smoke, there's fire.
Right?
He's what he said. He's like those rumors are coming from somewhere. Like the Bills are trying to screw him. Like
and then the whole like we'll see if I'm back. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you will see? Like, like I
He did.
You know
say
what it is?
Yes, he wanted to return. He did say yes, he wanted.
I know
to finish, but then he'd go on and completely contradict what he said. So it's like, what?
Yeah. My thing with him is this. Look, man. I truly believe this, Mikey. And I said it. Here's the deal with Diggs at this point. In my opinion, I think the dude, when he got here in 2020, it was a totally different from Minnesota, right? He left Minnesota, left that behind. It was a fresh start, just like anyone. It was a fresh start, right? Fresh start, right? And and the media, when you're a fresh start, you go somewhere. Usually, the media, everything's going good. It was Love, Allen. Him and Allen are doing magazine covers. They love, like, everything was great until it wasn't. Meaning now we're losing playoff games, right? Now and then here we go, right? So I kind of feel like when it comes to Diggs, Mikey, I feel like the love and passion for the team is gone. Now, I'm not saying his work ethic is gone. I think no matter what, Diggs, lace him up on Sunday, tie up his shoes, get his jersey on. I think he's going to bring it no matter what. But that doesn't mean he loves the team anymore. Like, meaning if he was traded tomorrow, somehow we were able to get rid of, I don't think he would be like, oh man, I'm really going to miss Buffalo. I love playing. Like, I just think his love and passion for playing for the Bills and McDermott is gone. I think it's long gone. Now, can winning change that? Sure.
I think he's done with the leaders in the organization. He's just kind of irritated with.
That's what I'm saying. But it's sure you're gonna have love for your teammates, Mikey. But I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about the love and passion for the Buffalo Bills, not for his teammates. I'm talking about playing for the Buffalo Bills. I think that ship has sailed. I just do. I don't think he believes in the. I don't think he believes in the direction. I think when he answers questions like that, and he's kind of just like, whatever, I don't really give a fuck anymore. I think it's more like, I'm stuck. I know I'm stuck, but I'm gonna, what more can I fucking tell you guys? I'm here to play. Like, that's what he's saying. He's not saying, listen, guys, I'm happy with the Buffalo Bills. I'm gonna be a Buffalo Bill.
He's not saying anything. But he's not even saying it the way you're saying it. He's just talking in circles.
Yeah, he's leaving and he leaves and he leaves the door open
for interpretation.
Because if he would just say, just a simple reply, I'm good with the Buffalo Bills. I love Josh Allen. I can't wait for next. It would never probably be asked again.
Which he has said that many times. The problem is he says it to one reporter, and then the next reporter asks the exact same question, so he gives a different answer.
I still feel like he doesn't.
He gives a different answer.
I still feel like yeah, that's true. He words it different. He always you're right.
Because he words it different. Recently, he has come out and said, yes, I love Buffalo. Yes, I love Josh Allen. Yes, I want to retire a Bill. And then he goes to the next interview and they ask him the same question. And instead of saying the same thing, he just opens it up for interpretation.
Yeah.
I think he enjoys it. I think he enjoys it. I really do.
He may, but I just don't. I don't believe it. I truly. I think what happened last offseason, Mikey, with the whole thing with McDermott, was the end.
I don't think he believes in McDermott. I really don't.
Correct. I think that whole situation, right, from the end of the, what's funny, when I go back in time with this thing, we go back to 2021. Was it 2021? I'm sorry, 2020, and we lost to the Chiefs in the championship game, and Diggs was out there. If you remember, right? Standing out there, soaking it in. Remember? Last player out there. And who went out and got him? Sean McDermott, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, damn, that's great to see your head coach. You know what I mean? I think Diggs was like, yeah. No, championship game. Remember the confetti was.
He went up and he hugged McDermott, and they had that little sideline talk last year. But after the championship game or the division game last year, shit seems to be different.
No, that's what I'm saying, but I'm talking about that 2020 game. I felt like, and me personally, like, this is a good relationship. Like, at that time, like, I felt like, man, like, coach to player, not even coach to player, coach to star player who, had all this baggage, supposedly bad in Minnesota, bad team. Like, I remember talking to you about it, going, man, Stephon Diggs came here. He's been nothing but a great teammate, great player. Like, man, look at look how he's like affected by the championship game. Like he truly wants to bring it here. Like, and then 2021 came, right? And then that was 13 seconds, right? And then he didn't want to. Then he didn't stick around that. Remember that? He kind of dipped out, like. And I understand what's that. And then 2022 happened, and it was even worse. Remember, he was out of there. Remember, he didn't want to talk to anybody. And then the 2023 offseason, remember, that's when it all kind of hit the fan. When he was just cryptic, like he didn't do that in the past. And then you had the whole mini camp situation. And if you remember, leading up to that, Mikey, we had the off season where you didn't have to go. What is it called? Where players don't have to go. Like it's non-mandatory. Remember, he didn't show up to non-mandatory, and a lot of people were like, "Oh," and me and you were like, "Hey, it's not mandatory. You don't have to show. You don't have to show." But mini camp, it's mandatory. And remember, we were all going, "Will he show up?" Remember the media. Remember, it was a big thing leading up to. And then what do we get? McDermott on the press. All right. Oh, didn't show up. Bro. And he showed up, but it was a big fight and nobody wanted to talk about it because that's really what happened. So I just feel like, man, this has been boiling up with Diggs and the Bills since the end, I believe, of 2021, dude. And I think 2022 happened and it was another bad result against the Bengals. And that's here we are today.
2023, though, he has to look in the mirror for 2023.
I agree, but that's where I'm going with the whole heart and love for the Buffalo. Like I believe he brings it in the past. I believe he brings the game. Like he ties it up. He plays his hardest on game day, but I don't know if he cares like he used to for the Buffalo Bills. You understand? Like if they lose, he's just like, whatever. Like I just don't know if I don't see it from him anymore. I just don't. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm just looking out the outside in because he's so hard to read. I have no idea. I just don't see that love and passion for the Buffalo Bills or Sean McDermott. I think end of season he's out of there. He don't want to talk to nobody.
Well, but he wasn't this year. He was the last person to leave.
Immediately, he didn't talk to nobody. He didn't talk to nobody.
He stuck around with his teammates. He didn't talk to the.
No, I'm just saying, but he didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to talk shit. But he did stick around. That was good. Yeah. At least he did that for the. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But either way, I almost feel like I think me and you have it right, and it's a coaching thing.
It's a non-point at this point because he, unless he goes to Buffalo, goes to Bean, and is willing to redo his contract and take less money, which
correct.
He's already said, don't mess with my contract.
Yeah, he's not, and he's
not going anywhere.
There's very, very rare, and I don't know if it's ever happened, and probably maybe it has, that a player's like done that just to get out of town.
Well, not to get out of town.
I'm sure it has.
Aaron Rodgers
but not a lot.
Aaron Rodgers gave back $30 million last year, but it was only to bring more players in.
No. I'm saying to leave. I'm saying to leave to get shipped out of town.
That doesn't happen. They don't.
I'm saying like for him to go. You know what? I want to be out of here so bad. I'm willing to give this back just to be out of here. Like it's not. I don't see that happening.
I'm not Roy. I didn't say he took a pay cut. We can restructure his contract, and that's just moving money around and giving him money up front. What I'm saying, the only possible way for him to truly leave town without completely crippling us financially on the cap is for him to give back money, which he's not going to.
The guarantee.
Yeah.
The bonus, the signing. It's not happening. He's not
going to do that. So he's going to be here. Now, it'll be interesting to see if we restructure his contract this year. Because if we restructure his contract this year, that means he's going to be here next year, guaranteed as well. If we don't restructure him this year, there is an out at the end of the year. Correct. We'll still have to pay a certain amount of money, in dead cap, but we could truly get out of it at that point. So it'll be interesting to see how they play it.
But I gotta say, it real quick. This happened.
Got it.
This happens on a lot of teams with superstar receivers, especially receivers.
Yeah.
That's why they're known as the diva receivers. It's going to happen. Probably. Yeah, it's probably going to happen with Jefferson. Maybe it happens. Like these guys eventually go, they get unhappy. I don't know what it is about the receivers, but that's what happens when you got these kind of big time, big money receivers, and things aren't going right. They they tend to be the ones that speak up and cause a little bit of issues. They just do.
And Triggs is right here. one of the biggest things that help. Diggs doesn't show up in the playoffs ever.
He is not. You're right. I don't get it. Dropping passes. And boy, he just, when asked about it too, he was just like, I think the one guy asked him, he's like, the drop pass, and he's like,
I should have caught it.
Touch
my hand. I should have caught it.
Well.
It's
like, dude.
I mean, Tyreek, he didn't really show up. He dropped bad passes down the stretch too for them. Big time passes.
Yeah, but he has shown up before for the Chiefs.
I mean, he showed up against he showed up
when he played with the Chiefs.
He played against the Chiefs this year. He's the guy who caught the touchdown.
No, but I'm saying he has shown up in playoffs in general. Is what I'm saying. He's had games, moments.
But so did Stephon. Stephon's had a few big games in Minnesota. He's just never shown up for Buffalo in the playoffs.
Not for Buffalo. Yeah, you're right too. You're right. He had that huge moment in the playoffs when they winded up winning that game. What was it? Overtime, fourth quarter, or whatever. Yes. You're right. Listen, man, it is what it is, man. But like you said, he ain't going anywhere.
Triggs, I'll be perfectly honest. I'd trade 3-1s for Jefferson right now.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat, I'd give him 3-1s for Jefferson.
In a heartbeat. Yeah, in a heartbeat.
And then I would give him the $30 million a year he wants. Because that guy shows up all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyreek did have one good game ever in the playoffs. He also torched us in that 13-second game.
No, he fucking destroyed us. You kidding me? That whole game.
Tyreek destroyed us in that 13-second game.
We could not stop him. Okay, it was every time he caught the ball, it seemed like a touchdown. Every
7-yard route and outrun everybody.
Right, 65-yard. Right. It was so annoying, dude. I hated it, Mike. We had no answer.
We had no answer for Tyreek at all.
Zero.
I mean, since he went to Miami, we've had answers for him.
We have played him very well since he's been a Dolphin. I mean, remember I talked to you about that? So odd. Like, we played him shitty with the Chiefs and awesome since he's been in Miami. Like, I don't think he's caught 100 yards since he's been in Miami against us.
I think he caught 100
I could be wrong, but maybe once. Maybe. Yeah. Was it? Okay. But damn.
There's a playoff game. I think he had like 104 or something like that.
Did he? Okay.
With Skylar Thompson. Yeah. But
for the most part,
he hasn't done a bunch. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he torched us in that 13-second game. Like we can do anything.
Nothing.
But, so I'm interested to see what we do from a roster standpoint now. So we made the coaching changes, Tommy. We went young. We all both think, and we've talked about this, we both think Micah Hyde's going to retire. I don't think he's going to come back and play. So that means, what do we do from a safety standpoint? Do we keep Jordan Poyer and draft young defensive players? Do we go out and sign? Like, I would love to see us sign a Jeremy Chin or a Duggar. You know what I mean?
I think that boils down to what Bean winds up doing with the current contracts to free up money, right? So how much money he has to use, right? That's one. Because if you go by last year, a lot of 1-year deals, right? And you're not gonna, if you're trying to get a good safety out there and the market's free agent, he's probably not going to be a 1-year guy. He's probably going to want, at least a 3-year deal, right? That's just 2-3-year deal. Now, a player like Taylor Rapp, I wouldn't mind coming back on a 1-year deal if you can get a guy like that, if he's willing to come back on a 1-year deal.
But Taylor, I know he's more of the Poyer role than he does the.
No, I get that, but I'm just talking about depth. I'm talking about depth, having a guy, because Poyer, I would like Poyer to come back, but let's be real, Poyer hasn't been Mr. Healthy during regular season games. He's missed times, missed games.
I would love
to have that. So a guy like that, I would trust. Backing Poyer up for depth. And I think they could get possibly a 1-year deal done with Rapp again to bring him back for another year. But I think it just boils down to what kind of money they're freeing up if you're going to go through the draft or free agency. But you already know my thinking of what the Bills should do this offseason. I'm going to stand firm with that. I think they should figure a way to get Derrick Henry here. I'm going to be real with you. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I can't afford it. I keep telling you guys it can be done. It's not, running backs don't get paid what they used to. His market right now, he's an older running back. He still has juice in the tank. But most teams, you're going to see, even if Buffalo doesn't sign him, he's not going to get a 5-6 year deal, something crazy. He's going to get a 3-year deal.
Probably going to get a 2 to 3 year
3-year deal somewhere.
Probably about $5 million.
From 7. Yeah, I think 7.
$5 to $7 million.
Yeah, and which is super doable.
3 year, $21 million.
I would do it, guys. He's a needle mover. He would be, if you look at the offense, you go out and then you draft a receiver in the first round, which I'm really hoping they do. You're talking about a complete offense that defenses will fear. You have Josh Allen, who's an elite quarterback, no matter how you guys think about him. You have a two-headed monster in Cook and Derrick Henry. You got Stephon Diggs and whoever you're drafting as your second receiver, who could be possibly a one moving forward, depending on who you draft. Then you got guys like Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. That is a scary offense. And Dawson Knox too. But for me, Mikey, it is time for the Bills to concentrate on offense. You need a needle mover. Brandon Beane has spent so much money on defensive players in free agency.
He's going to continue to do it.
And rolling the dice. Yeah, and I get it. But I hope and pray this offseason, Brandon Beane looks back at, since he's become GM and McDermott's been here, that he understands that philosophy of paying these big time defensive, all these defensive players have not worked out. It's time to beef up the offense, go young on the defense instead of getting these aging defensive players who oversized contracts. I love Von Miller, but let's be real. If he doesn't perform well this year coming up, it's a bad signing. I hate to say it, but it is. It did not work out. Now, if he performs well, I'm good with it. I would still say then fine. That was a great signing, worked out. But I think you got 10 draft picks, Mikey. You draft in the first round, you get yourself that receiver you want, even if you have to trade up. Then you go hardcore heavy on the defensive side of the ball. You get yourself safeties, you get yourself defensive tackle, you get yourself an edge. You go all out on the defensive side of the ball. You have to trade. You have a lot of picks to work with to trade up, whatever you got to do. And in free agency, no, I don't think so either. But you have maneuver to take some of those picks, trade up. You have fucking 4 6-round picks, whatever it is. You have a 3rd round coming in from the Tremaine M. You can use those to an advantage to trade up to get a guy you really want that's going to fit the team. And then, like I said, in free agency, Mikey, if you do spend money on one player, like a Derrick Henry, you get that deal done. You still can get a lot of deals done with a 1 to 2 year deal. It's what he did last year. Then you start filling in those little holes for veteran guys like Taylor Rapp, if he wants to come back, a guy Shaq Lawson, if he wants to, you know what I mean? Like guys that are out there that are willing to do 1 year, 2 year deals, prove it deals, or veteran players that'll fit in this scheme. Then you got yourself a team, man. But you got to have to go young in the draft on these defense because we're getting aging guys.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I just knowing how McDermott and Beane build their rosters. Yeah, you're probably going to see Daquan return, and it's going to be Oliver and Daquan. And then my guess, I hope so.
Is I'm good with Daquan returning.
Then my guess is they're going to bring in a minimum player that's a veteran, and they're going to draft a defensive tackle. Is probably my guess. And then for edge, because we only have 2 edges, we have Vaughn and we have Groot. They're probably going to sign back Shaq Lawson, which I'm okay with. Chances are Leonard Floyd and AJ Epinesa are going to get paid elsewhere. They're going to be gone. So Shaq is a decent rotational edge. Yep. We'll probably bring him back and then go into the draft and get somebody. And who knows? Maybe we sign a veteran edge guy, as well. So we'll see how that plays out. But then it's gonna really come down to what do they want to do. I don't think they're gonna give out $7 million a year to a backup running back. I know you want Henry, and I'd love to have him. I just don't see them knowing that that Cook ended up as the 5th best running back in the league this year. I don't see us spending that kind of cash on a running back. I can see us bringing back, who was the other back that we had this year? Can't think of him. Not Murray, the other one.
Fournette?
No.
Oh, Ty Johnson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can see us bringing back Johnson and then drafting a running back in the draft, a young back. I know you don't want that. I'm just saying I could see us.
No, I wouldn't even hate. Listen, I wouldn't even hate that. I'm not saying I don't. Look. I'm just saying what I would, my dream scenario on how I think the Bills could really bolster this offense for next year and really move the needle would be to get a Derrick Henry, because he still has juice in the tank. And I think a 2-year deal isn't crazy. Now, if it doesn't get done, which, like you said, I get that part. Then you need to draft a running back somewhere in the middle rounds that is a bigger back, that is a more of a young Latavius Murray. You know what I mean? Like, that type of player, 6'2", 6'1", kind of running back. That's a
225, 230.
Exactly. Just a change of pace.
A hammer.
Yes. Give me that. I know he's not going to be a Derrick Henry. Obviously, there's only one Derrick Henry, right? But I'm just saying, if you don't go that route, get that, And remember, though, remember they were trying to get Derrick, the whole Von Miller, Derrick. It was funny. Everything Von Miller ever said has not come true. Like we're going to, right? We're going to
fall for that shit this year. The rumors
never do.
Are going to be
right. Don't do it. Right.
The rumors
don't
going to be
fall. Right. Anything Von says moving forward, do not believe it.
I mean, Triggs, you're right. I would love to have Sweat. I have a feeling Sweat's going to go early to mid second round. So if Sweat was going to be the pick, he'd probably have to be our first round pick, or we would have to move up in the second round to get him.
So Roy Phillips is retiring, I think, as well. He's hinted at it, so I don't think he'll be back regardless.
I don't think Shaq needs to disappear. Shaq had a blowout year. He also made veteran minimum and was a really good run defender for us for the most part.
I had no problem with Shaq. For
him being DN4, I'm okay with.
You're not over. Listen, he's not you're not overpaying for Shaq Lawson. Like he's a depth player that knows the system. It's not like he is a terrible guy to have on your route. Like he's a good teammate, good depth piece, cheap deal. You can get another 1-year deal on it. I have no problem with bringing back Shaq Lawson. Zero problem with it.
Because you're not paying him a bunch of money. You know, and right now we don't have a lot. Like this year, we're negative 51 going into the year. So we'll make moves to get under. Next year, based off of projections, we have about 31 million. 2026, we have 100+ million because everyone comes off the books. So, we're not in too bad a cap space. Like we could sign Daquan and kick a little bit into 26 or 27 if we wanted to, because we have a ton of money coming up. It's this year that we're real bad. Next year, we're actually pretty decent. And then, so we have the ability to play around and kick some into future years where we have a ton of money.
Right.
Oh, I like this, Triggs. Sweat, a healthy Daquan, and Ed Oliver in the middle would be a nightmare for O-lines. I agree. And then you take a late day guy, someone like Harris out of Auburn or Hall out of Baylor. As a DT4 would be fantastic, because then you have a couple young guys with a couple veterans, and that's what you need. That would be awesome. The problem is this year's DN class isn't great. It's not super heavy. Like you have your first round guys, but after that, it's a lot of probably late day 2, day 3 guys.
We need Gregory Rousseau to step up next year. I thought he was going to take a much bigger step this year. I didn't think he played bad, but I also think
he did until he got hurt.
Yeah, I just
stay healthy.
Yeah, I thought he took a baby step forward, which isn't terrible. I wanted to see more.
Started off the year like a gangbuster, and then he got hurt, and he was just like never quite the same. He just needs to stay healthy, is what it happened.
Yeah. He's still young. I think he's still trying to. He'll be all right. He's still getting bigger. Like, like I said, we do have a healthier Von Miller coming back. We'll see what Von can do. By the way, right? Because we didn't get a healthy Von all year, so that will still be interesting. But we do need a draft and edge somewhere, even though it's not the best class. It would be good to at least find one, maybe get lucky that he winds up working out like a Terrell Bernard. I mean, you never know.
Weston comes in and says the 2025 Chiefs are slated to have 120 million. Yeah, but you also have guys coming off your cap at that point too when you're gonna have that 120. Like obviously at the end of this year, you know, Chris Jones needs to be replayed. Needs to be replayed. And then in 2025, you're gonna have to pay your interior O-line, you know, Tooney, Humphrey, and Smith. Travis Kelce will be a free agent, so you'll need to re-sign him if he's still playing, you know, all those things. So that 120 million is going to get eaten up quick when you have to re-sign a bunch of your young guys, and that's not including having to re-sign some of these DNs like Karoftis and you know, McDuffie, your corners, you know, these young guys that have been playing on rookie deals the last couple of years. You know, in 2 years they're going to be up for extensions. It's gonna come quick. You know, that's the one thing the Bills haven't had is a bunch of those young guys that we have to pay all at one time. Ours has been like one guy this season, one guy next season, one, you know.
That's true.
We haven't hit one of those drafts where we had 5 guys that become, you know, we had
superstar. Major superstar. Yeah. I mean,
the Chiefs hit that.
Our last player, I guess Ed Oliver, right, was our last kind of a first round where we had a, you know, we
number 9 overall pick. Yep. Because since Ed Oliver, it's been Rousseau, right? It's been Kincaid. It's been Elam.
First round.
In the first round.
Yeah. Elam's done.
Rousseau's
and those guys have a while.
And
those guys have a while to go. Yeah.
Who knows what Elam's going to be? We have a new secondary coach because Elam and our secondary coach John Butler didn't like each other, and that was made perfectly clear by Elam. They did not get along.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see if this new guy coming to town can understand what his, once again, knowing your player strengths and weaknesses, and also too, it also falls on Elam to be better. He needs to also be better, right? Like he understands that as well. So. Another off season for Elam.
Elam's gonna have a chance to win a job in camp. If he doesn't win a job in camp, then I could see us trying to move him because then it'll be year 3.
I agree.
Much like we moved Boogie Basham this year, we'll probably move Elam if he doesn't.
Right, and you get what you can.
Listen, I've watched Elam in games. He plays better in games than he does in practice because he's actually looks good in games.
Yeah, he's showed out in some games. Some games he was so, but. Yeah. I agree with you. He has shown better performances.
Promise in games that I've seen. I don't get to watch him in practice, so I don't know.
But like you said, a new DB coach, maybe this is something that will help him. You know, but he needs to.
I'll be interested to see what we do with Trey White too.
Tom. God, I don't know. I love the guy, man, but I don't.
We're paying him $16 million.
I know.
But are we going to pay him $10 million not to be on the team? Because if you cut him, you pay him $10 million. He counts $10 million towards your books, you get $6 million back. Like I think we need to go to him and find a way to restructure him, or you know, have him take a small pay cut to stay on this team. I really do.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with you there. Because I would hate, you're right. Like, I still think, like, he still can provide something for us, right? I don't think he's washed up by any means, but I don't think he's a player that,
$60 million.
Yeah, I don't think he's a player that's worth his contract right now. Like, I don't think he'll ever be the Trey White we know. But if he's willing to work with the Buffalo Bills on his contract, I would, of course, you take him back because he's still the veteran in the room. We have a lot. Now you have some young. Now, of course, you have the veteran in that you're going to get the extension with Rasul Douglas, right? He's a veteran too. But I think Rasul Douglas at this point in his career is worth the extension, and I think they will get it done. But I still wouldn't mind a Trey White coming back if he's willing to do that.
Because then you have the ability to play with Benford. And move him around, put him in the nickel, put him at the safety, because he did that in college. You know, if you know Trey White's coming back, and you know you have Douglas, and then you still have Elam, you know, and then maybe you draft somebody, you have the ability to move Benford around.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because right now, if something happens to Taron Johnson, we don't have another slot guy. It's Saran Neal. or Cam Lewis, and I don't want either one of those guys in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need us to have a better option. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. To ask Trey to lower the cap number, but with incentives to earn it back. Yeah. And you can do what they call not likely to be earned incentives around games played, because he didn't play the year before or the last 2 years. If you say you play 8 games, you can make X amount of money of this back. So there's a way to go to him and say, let's write your contract to where you can really make the money back by staying healthy, but it helps our cap this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a lot of ways to do that. And Trey seems like the type of guy they have the relationship with that he would be willing to do something like that. Like Diggs, as we were talking about earlier, you can't go to him and ask him to redo his play with his contract to make his money look different. He's not a guy who's going to play that game. Trey White, on the other hand, I could see being like, okay, if there's a way for me to truly earn my money back, then yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure between practice and actual play is the element with Elam. Yeah. Also, him and his position coach didn't get along. That plays a big role. I don't know if you've ever had a boss that you hated and then had a boss that you liked and you respected. It's a big difference.
Right.
You know? Why do people still want to hold on to McDermott? Simple. Would you rather exercise reading Bills versus once you hear it, you know it? Listen. Josh Allen went on the radio, Super Bowl radio road this week, and praised McDermott and said he hasn't lost the locker room. He's not going anywhere. Until Josh Allen says, I'm done with McDermott, he's not going anywhere. Because Pagula is the only way Pagula is going to get rid of McDermott is if he loses the locker room. And Allen and a bunch of the other guys have gone out and said, when did the things turn around this year? Is when the hit piece came out on McDermott and everyone rallied around him and believed in him.
Right.
And you know, like, listen, I don't want McDermott. Me and Tommy have both been on here saying I would move on from McDermott because I would rather move on too early than too late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's just me. You know, I don't run the team and I don't pay the.
Yeah, he's not. I'm telling you guys, man.
He's gonna be here
2020
till the new stadium opens.
2026, you're going to see McDermott running out of the new stadium. I'm telling you right now, guys. Regardless of what happens over the next 2 years, I think that's what's going to happen.
I want the 49ers to win, mainly because I don't want to listen to Nick Wright. Nick Wright makes me hate the Chiefs.
I don't hate the Chiefs. I don't honestly, the Super Bowl I could care less. I don't care.
But I live in Northern California. I want to see the 49ers win.
Yeah, I get you. It's just so tough to bet against the Chiefs. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't bet against them. That's for damn sure.
Right. Yeah. I just feel like that game's going to go down like the Eagles game of last year. I think it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes of the game. You know,
and
that's how
the 49ers are going to get tight and the Chiefs are going to play loose and the Chiefs are going to win.
Hey,
that's what they do.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
The team play tight and the Chiefs are loose.
To me, that game, man, the Super Bowl, I think the biggest question mark is going to be Purdy. Because if
they hit him,
Chiefs, if the Chiefs rattle him, I think it's going to be a long fucking day for the 49ers, man. If the Chiefs, if the 49ers can protect him and get Purdy in a groove, and because they're really, that team is built on playmakers, right? Everybody surrounding Purdy. And it's not a knock on Purdy. It's just he's not a Mahomes, Allen. Like, he's not a superstar quarterback. He's a good, right? Exactly. The big guys. I think he's more of I hate saying game manager, but that's kind of what he is there.
He's a general.
Yeah, exactly. But I also feel like he's still young in his career, and when you see him get rattled, boy, he makes a ton of bad decisions.
Can I be perfectly honest with you? I think the game's going to come down to if the 49ers can run the football. If the 49ers run on the Chiefs, because the Bills ran all over them. Right. The Baltimore Ravens didn't try. If Kyle Shanahan sticks to the run and truly sticks to the run, they have a chance to win. If they don't, I don't think they will, because the Chiefs' pass defense is one of the best you'll see this year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Spagnuolo will send all kinds of crazy blitzes at him.
Mm-hmm.
So now the 49ers are going to win this time. I hope so. I do. I really do hope so. And the 49ers defense do you get? Do you get the first half Detroit Lions, or do you get the second half Detroit Lions defense?
Right.
They shut down that high-powered Detroit Lions defense in the second half, caused turnovers, and but that first half they did whatever the hell they wanted to them.
Mm-hmm.
And God, don't let you need to hit Mahomes and run the ball on them. If that front line can hit Mahomes and rattle him, that's when you have a chance against the Chiefs offense. Is when you can rattle him. Go back and look at that last game that they lost against Vegas Raiders, right? Max Crosby and the other guy were just teeing off on Mahomes left and right. And they didn't go anywhere. Since then, Mahomes has been sacked one time since that game. And they've won.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. So anyways, Tommy, who do you got? Who are you taking in the Super Bowl?
What's crazy? Remember, I predicted the score last year. I don't know if people remember that, but I couldn't. Man, I wish I bet on it, but I would never do that. It's a crazy bet. But I had the exact score last year, which is nuts. It's like I said, once again, it's tough for me to bet against the fucking Chiefs. And by the way, they beat the 49ers a few years back. When Jimmy G was there, and the same head coach for the 49ers. So
Jimmy G missed a wide open Emmanuel Sanders down the middle that would have sealed the game.
Yeah, and I just feel like that's the way it works sometimes for the Chiefs, man. They have that a little bit of luck as well involved their way.
That Brady horseshoe.
I feel like they also get some calls their way, more calls their way than a lot of other teams. I'm just throwing it out there.
And it's not even in the middle of the game. It's the late game calls.
Right.
The clutch time calls.
Right. So it's just like, I'm gonna go Chiefs. God, I just it's tough for me to.
Yeah,
even though I think I will say this, even though I think San Francisco, has a better team, players wise. I think they have better talent on their team. Overall, they have a better roster, right? Talented roster. I just think the Chiefs have a few things that the 49ers don't have.
Kelsey, and Reed.
You hit it. That's it. So I think it's close. I think this is another Eagles.
You can't crap.
You're right.
You're right. Fantastic.
He's good too. So I'm gonna give this I think this is gonna be just like last year, guys. I think it's gonna be, if I had to guess, Mikey, 33-30. I think it's another 3-point game. I think it's down to the wire, and I think the Chiefs wind up getting a stop. I think it's the same thing you saw last year. They wind up getting a stop, and then that's it. They seal the deal.
Then they get a cheap pass interference call to be able to kneel it out.
Yep. Or get an easy field goal, win 33-30.
Yep. Because they got the cheap pass kicker kneeled it down and then kicked the field goal to win it.
Yeah, right. Their kicker, of course, doesn't miss field goals.
Yeah, like ours does.
Right. So,
37-34 Chiefs. So we're going to 27-23. I think it's going to be 31-27. I think that's what the score's going to sit around. Can I tell you who's going to have the 31? No, because it's really going to depend on I can't bet against the Chiefs. I want the 49ers to win so bad. I do. But I have a hard time believing anyone's going to beat the Chiefs. Every year I feel like we're the best. We have the best chance to beat the Chiefs than anybody else in the NFL.
Yeah,
our roster.
No, we gave them. Let's be real. I hate saying that. We would have beat them. We'd be here in the Super Bowl, because you never know. I'm just saying, you never know. But man, did we put the best fight against the Chiefs?
Always, every year.
Always, right? I just feel and I really honestly, truly believe we played Lamar very well. And I do believe we would have won that game if I believe that. Now, of course, who knows, right? Who knows? But it just sucks. We can't get over that hurdle. We cannot get over the Chiefs hurdle. And I hate to say it, I'm going to bring the Bengals up in this situation too. if we play the Bengals again, I think it's another team.
I'll be interested to see what the Bengals look like next year.
No, I know. I'm just saying
they have to start paying their guys.
They do, but they still got quarterback. They still got Jamar Chase.
Okay,
now,
Higgins
it might be gone, and that's a big deal. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I'm just saying though, as of now, though,
gone.
But look at Tyreek. I get that, but look at Tyreek Hill, right? Left the Chiefs. You would think that the Bills would have a better chance. I'm just saying, like, and we didn't. Like, it was the same results.
So let me ask you this question: If Joe Burrow or if Patrick Mahomes got hurt, do you think the Chiefs are the Chiefs?
No, God, no.
Joe Burrow got hurt this year and had a backup step in and still do fantastic for them because of the supporting cast around him.
Yes, that's true.
So losing some of that supporting cast is gonna hurt Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but I've seen Burrow since college. He's a
who was around a supporting cast that's just as good as he has now in college. Last time he didn't have a supporting cast, he was in Ohio State and he couldn't win the starting job.
I guess I'd have to see it. You know what I mean? I have to see it again in the NFL, how that would work out for him. But for now, I'm just saying for now, they do have our number for now. In my opinion, I think they've played us very well.
To see what they look like next year. As they start to as they have to start paying some of these guys and they start losing some of their guys,
right?
How they're going to do replacing them. Because Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, is a guy who knows how to style up a defense like Spags. So it's going to come down to what that offense can continue to do. Now, do I think Joe Burrow is better than their backup? Absolutely. Joe Burrow is still a damn good quarterback. But what this year showed me was it's not all Joe Burrow. That offense still runs because of that supporting cast.
Right. Well, we'll see. Like I said, man,
I was surprised that the Bengals ownership paid Burrow because they don't like to spend money at all.
Yeah.
Tommy, cue the Josh Allen. Okay.
You might cue it. I'll cue it.
Okay. Yeah. So, So, the Super Bowl is going to be fun. So what, Tommy, we'll be back in 3 weeks and start the offseason, and then we'll be back every Friday after that?
Yeah, so I'll be back Sunday. I'll be doing I'm doing a watch along for the Super Bowl at 6:00. So guys, if you are bored or whatever,
Super Bowl party for the first half, but I might be home for the second half depending on how it's going. So if I come home for the second half, I'll hop in with you.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'll be streaming from 6 to the end. So that'll be fun. And other than that, Tuesday's the wrestling Nuclear Heat Wave still going on at 7:30. Wednesday, I believe this Wednesday Mafia Talk will be going live, but I'll get with them on that. And then we're going on a 2 to 3 week break for Friday Night Lights, and then we'll be back, and we'll be back every Friday night. And then man, we do it all over again. And hopefully next off season we're talking Super Bowl, guys, instead of being here early. And
you doing WrestleMania?
No, I usually go to Nuclear Heat Wave. They throw it like every big pay-per-view. They do an event at their house. They pizza and food. So no, I don't go live for like. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big wrestling guy. I'll go over there because it's something to do. Those guys are hardcore wrestling guys. That's why they do the show. I can't do the show. So, but no, man. But hey, once again, though, everybody in this chat, man, I appreciate you guys coming aboard, man. And absolutely. I know it's been a while and everything, but you guys will see our awesome faces again in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and
getting ready for the fun, my fun time of the year. I love draft time.
Oh, dude,
building time is my absolute favorite time.
Oh, by the way, Mikey, are you still doing that thing that you were planning on doing, or no? With you and Howie about the teams, or is this up in the works?
It's still in the works. Trying to figure out.
Works up in there. Okay.
Because what we're talking about doing is doing a fix the franchise.
Yeah.
Series where we go all around the league and pick every team and do one team and try to fix them. We're still working through some of the logistics to see if it can be done, and if either one of us are going to have the time to truly do it, because it takes a lot of in-depth looking at them to understand what each team needs and doing all that fun stuff. So,
got you. Okay,
we'll see.
We'll have our we do these mock drafts. We'll do ours that we did last year.
Yeah, buddy.
Those are fun. I hit it last year with the Osiris.
So, Tommy, have you looked at any of the college rankings yet?
No.
Who's that wide receiver you want right now?
I usually dial in to my
okay.
You know how I do. I dial. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, the wide receiver that I want us to draft is Troy Franklin. 6'4", 187 out of Oregon. The dude has great hands, super fast, has yak ability, contested catch ability. He brings everything we want. That's the kid I want us to draft in the first round. Question is he going to be there?
Go ahead. So mine's Keon Coleman, Florida State.
Really?
Same thing. 6'4".
Doesn't have the
speed. He has speed. He's not slow. Is he a burner?
So he has speed. So he can't. Why can't he separate?
He has speed. He's not. I don't think he's not electric speed. But let me see what well, he hasn't obviously ran. But no, he has speed. If you go look at his profile and go look at his film,
I do watch his film. He has so many contested catches because he can't separate.
I think this guy could be a stud. I do. And if you look at a lot of the draft profile, and I think he is
separation is a big issue for him, and that does not fit what we do.
I think it's something that could be worked. I feel listen, the film I've seen him get separated, and I love the contested catches that he makes, which is something that we have struggled with on this team. We're not good at contested catches. Go. Gabe Davis was okay, but then at the last year he was terrible, right? Even worse. So Stephon Diggs, even last year, contested catches, not so great. Yeah. Khalil Shakir probably was our best. Right.
I think it was Kincaid was probably our best contested catch guy.
You're right. I would say you're right on that, but that's not. We need like I said, we need a receiver.
We need an outside guy like that. That's the catch.
We need a red zone threat. Like we don't have any true red zone wide receiver threats right now outside of Kincaid, who's I guess our hybrid, who really didn't have a lot of touchdowns last year. Now maybe this year coming up, Mikey, he'll be more of a red zone type of receiver for us. But we haven't had a bigger like receiver that can go up and get that 50-50 ball, in the end zone, like a Mike Evans. You know what I mean? Like a guy that just go up and get it. Absolutely, you're right. Probably since Dio. You are probably right on that one. Because I'm trying to think date back. Like they try to. I think they thought Kelvin.
Yep.
They thought Kelvin would have been that, and he wasn't. I'm just trying to think.
They tried Streeter. Streeter wasn't. Remember Streeter?
I forgot about Streeter.
Streeter wasn't. Roy comes and says, I keep hearing he's more of a body catcher than a hands catcher. No, he's more of a hands catcher than a body catcher. He has great body control, but he's very much a hands catcher.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of. I'm with DG when he talks about will he be there at 28. I think we'll have to move up to get him. I really do. I think we'll have to move up to the early 20s to snag him. Probably like 21, 22, 23, somewhere around there to get him. It really is going to come down to what some of these other guys like, Thomas Jr. at LSU. What does he run? What does Keon Coleman run? What does Leggett run?
The combine's interesting.
How much does Rome Wilson continue to climb after the Senior Bowl? Pascal from Florida. How much does he continue to climb after the Senior Bowl? So there's a lot of guys who did great things at the Senior Bowl that's rising them up the ranks.
That's right.
The next one is the combine. So we really won't know until after the combine where a lot of these guys rank, because someone's going to fall in love. Like every year you see somebody go that you didn't think. Like going into the draft, it was Marvin Harrison Jr., it was Neighbors, it was Rome were the top three. And that was the top tier. And the next tier was Thomas Jr. and Franklin. And then the tier after that, that's when you added in Coleman and Leggett and Rome Wilson and like all these other guys that are there. That's that. So those are the 3 tiers. Be interested to see what the tiers look like after the combine when they truly do the testing.
Yep. Well, like I said, man, we'll dial into that.
When we get back.
Yep. All right, man. So guys,
free agency, some drafts, start building this 2024 roster out.
Yep. So once again, we appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you guys Sunday when I go live for the draft for the Super Bowl. Other than that, man, appreciate everybody. Love you guys. Bills Mafia rule. We're out here. Go Bills, man. Peace out.
God.